And go.
At the end of what has been a very long day, we're here with you, fine people, for Parenting Porcupines. And tonight we're going to talk about the thing that nobody else is talking about. I mean, literally no. Oh, wait. Elon Musk and Twitter. All right, so how's that for a fake out? I went to the baseball game on Sunday night. I'm not kidding. This is a true story. So I took my daughter to the baseball game Sunday night. We went and sat and watched baseball. It was really cool. It was like 5:00 start time. It was in the shade. It's a minor league team. It was awesome, right? Like we're just hanging out watching baseball, just the kid and me for like 2 hours. It was awesome. And it occurred to me later in the week that as much fun as we had at the baseball game and as many families were there and people were there, they can no longer call that America's pastime, because America's pastime is in fact social media hysteria. So as we started talking about what we were going to do for the show tonight, I was like, and you said, Jessica, you go, we should talk about Elon Musk and Twitter. And I was like, God help us. Everybody's talking about Elon Musk and Twitter, but it's a part of a bigger, it's like a symptom that there's a much bigger problem. And the bigger problem is that we seem to be, as a society, obsessed with these hysteria, these like little momentary flash in the pan hysteria. And this week it's Elon Musk and Twitter. And today, actually, I was sitting at a conference today and this dude said to me, he's like, so what do you think about Will Smith and Chris Rock? And I was like, what? That was so like a month ago. I was like, why are you even having that?
On that?
Why would we even have that conversation? I go, I don't have the brain capacity for that anymore, because that was 2 months ago. Like that was forever ago, right? Anyway, so between the slap and now, you know, the Chicken Littles all over
the
Twitter
acquisition.
The acquisition.
Who are leaving. It's a capital A, the acquisition. All right, so let's just get it out of the way then. Have you, first of all, are either of you on Twitter?
Yes.
I know Jessica is, because I follow you on Twitter. Are you on Twitter, Melissa?
I was for a hot second for the 2020 presidential campaign, for the sole purpose of trying to get the algorithms to register libertarians.
Okay.
But no, I don't understand how it works. I don't like it. I can't follow the conversation. It's just completely foreign to me. So I deleted all my accounts.
Okay. I'm willing to say actually that Twitter is my one and only social media that I frequent. I'm probably on there once a day, and I use it for finding news. I scroll through and read conversations. Actually, maybe it's because I've been on it for so long, I don't take any of it too seriously. I don't really care that much about most of the things that are on there. And yeah, it's so low impact. And sometimes there's really funny stuff on there. So like I'll kind of, as a family, I'll like share it with my family, the funny stuff. But that's kind of it. I have Instagram and I have Facebook, but I loathe Facebook. And Instagram and I have a love-hate relationship.
You've got to call your friends list. For a while there, if I had mutuals, I was accepting them. And then after the election, I went through and I went, these people are fucking crazy. Like if I don't know you, if I wouldn't hang out with you in real life, you're gone.
Yeah,
you're done.
I did that too. And I had to stop because I was getting
much better now.
Yeah, I was getting so many friend requests, and I was like, no more.
Yeah.
So
if you're a woman with mutuals in the Libertarian Party, I would accept your request.
Yeah.
Random men, nope, I'm done.
Yeah,
because they're weird.
So it's not my feed that bothers me. Like and I don't even really stay on long enough to even read anything. It's that I manage pages, right? So I manage the one for Right on SC. I manage one for all my book stuff, my author page and all that. And it's every time I go in there, I try to use it, and then it shifts to like, you're now interacting as this page, and like there's all these alerts, and I'm like, where are the alerts? And then it's like, you're now in the creator studio, and I'm like, fuck off, creator studio. I don't need
that. That's not what I requested.
Yes, it is not.
I'm not building a damn business on Facebook. Like I don't want to have anything to do with that. I mean, it's hard enough to figure out how to work the behind the scenes on YouTube, but on top of that, having to do it on Facebook too, like you can just fuck right off. I have zero interest in that. Yeah. And
Because
so
you're
it's
gonna
not, it's not the
you're gonna
feed.
get shadow banned anyways, so it doesn't matter.
Shadow banned. Hi, Brian. Yeah. So okay, let's talk in general social media then. So what is the one social media you're using the most of? Melissa, sounds like Facebook probably is it.
Yes, because that's where my friends and family are, and I can see
Okay.
pictures and hear about their kids.
Okay. And so intentionally on Facebook.
Yes.
Jess, what about you?
I go in spurts. So like it'll be Facebook for a while because it'll be a lot of like friends and family type stuff, and then I'll be on Instagram a lot more for like a week because I like to watch the reels. I like reels on Instagram. They're fun. I know.
I've discovered I can just not follow political accounts,
Yeah.
and I like
It's
Instagram
a
a lot
brand new
better.
day.
It is. It
Yeah,
is.
it's
Like,
bliss.
I
It's
can
blissful.
follow the 3 celebrities I give a shit about, and they make me smile, and that's it.
I like to follow
And my
50,
friends.
50 Cent is my favorite celebrity to follow on Instagram because he's hilarious. He posts the funniest stuff. But and then Twitter, I've been trying to do a little bit more. Just have a little bit more of a presence on Twitter. Just because it's they're all different audiences. I mean, it's very different audiences between the 3. So I'm trying to get to a point where I'm kind of spreading myself evenly. And it's the same thing because like on Facebook, I am part of the various Libertarian Party pages, and then our our page, and then
Yeah.
so
I
anyway,
can't with the political people. Like 90% of the garbage.
I'm so
that happens with
tired.
Political people. I'm so done
I'm
with
just
it.
gonna
And
say it publicly. I'm exhausted with all of these
and
people.
that too. So this is the topic of the show is the
Yeah.
hysteria.
Mhm.
It's the hysteria. The idea
Constantly,
that people go on Facebook and there becomes this little he said and then the boom said and then there's like this whole thing. And at one point, and we all love Casey Crow, our state party chair. I love him like a brother. And he starts telling me about something and I'm like, wait, okay. And I'm like really trying to listen. And then I was like, wait a second. Is this a Facebook fight? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, God bless. Like every time I fall for it, every time. And I think you're telling me about a legitimate argument, and you're not. You're telling me about some stupid digital garbage. Like, no, just take that shit elsewhere. I have zero interest in that. God bless. I just don't have the energy or the capacity for it.
I don't. So he probably didn't say it because I saw it on Facebook, but I am absolutely a subscriber to the meme of Mike Tyson talk, and there's a quote. It's a picture of Mike Tyson, and it says something equivalent to a lot of people got used to saying stuff and not getting punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
And I am absolutely a subscriber to that. You can say stuff online and no consequences.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
if you say that to my
people
face,
go out and act a fool. They are straight up acting a fool. And then when we do see them in person, like we do see them live, it's a very different person when we're eyeball to eyeball. And I'm of the opinion, if you're not going to say something to somebody's face, you have zero right to be saying it online.
Don't say it. Yep.
Yeah, I get just crazy frustrated by that. Charlie said, thank goodness for Johnny Depp to distract from the politics. So that's one of my questions of like how close, how engaged are you in the social media hysteria? Number one, do you think Elon Musk is going to ruin Twitter or make Twitter a better place? Somewhere on the spectrum. What do you think?
I mean, I don't have an opinion either way.
That can't be true. That cannot possibly be true.
I mean, I've never been banned on any of these platforms. So I don't have a reason to be mad.
I'm not a digital asshole. So no, neither have I. Neither have I.
I mean, I think if he does what he says his intentions are, I think that's not a bad thing necessarily, but at the same time, this is not something that's going to end my existence. So,
yeah,
not really.
I'm all right with that. I'll accept that answer. I'm the same way. I don't know that it's going to change that much for my experience on Twitter because I don't really follow a bunch of jerks, and I'm certainly not one of them. So it's not that big a deal. We got a couple of comments in our chat here. Privatization makes everything better. Maybe.
Mhm.
Absolutely. But two,
Correct.
is Twitter a public square? This is a conversation Charlie and I were having. Like, is it really a public square? And I don't know that I think it is, because number one, Twitter makes its money on data
Mhm.
and advertising, and it's a company, right?
Mhm.
This is a for-profit company whose job it is to make money, period. That is not the same thing as the public square. Like, it's not. They have to do what's in their best interest to make money for their shareholders and their stakeholders. They
But
cannot
so do newspapers.
prioritize.
The
Yes.
nightly news on NBC has to do the same thing.
And aren't we at their mercy?
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
Like, aren't we at the mercy of this mainstream media, blitzkrieg, where basically they just say whatever they want to say, whether it's true or not?
But
I
they're
don't know.
supposed to be impartial. They say they're impartial. It ain't true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
hasn't been the
saying.
case for a
We
long
need a whole other episode about that.
time.
So one of the questions is, how do you talk to your children about social media? Are any of your kids on social media? Melissa's are
My
not.
oldest is 11, so no.
Okay. And Jess, yours are?
Mhm. Yeah, Jackson has he's got a Facebook, and then he's also got a Snapchat, and then YouTube, because he has a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So he does like outdoor stuff. Yeah, because he's like Bill Dance, apparently. But I love him. Bless his heart. Bless his heart.
Holly's got Twitter and Tumblr, because the gamers that she follows on Twitch, that's where a lot of their streams get announced, is on Tumblr. And then, on Twitter is where they'll announce their streams. And then on Tumblr is where their fan groups will write the lore, like what's happening in the streams and like how the stories are progressing and all that. So she follows a bunch of different people on Tumblr for that purpose. And then
I didn't even realize Tumblr was still around. I was on that 20 years ago. I didn't know that was still a thing. All right.
I know. I kind of was the same way. I was like, you're on Tumblr.
Oh,
what? Like,
really?
what is this? But it's gone kind of niche, and the crowd that's there is it's very much an LGBTQ plus community. It's very non-binary, gender fluid, all that suchness, or at least that's the community that she's tapped into on there. But yeah, so, and that's primarily because the gamers stuff from Twitch is there. And then she's got a Twitch account so she can log in and watch. But the rule we have is she's not allowed to post anything ever. Like, you may follow, you can read, you can like, right? You can reblog something that somebody else has written. That's Stephen, that's a little bit, but I don't want her to get any followers. I don't want anybody following her account. And so the idea is they should look at her account and realize that she never tweets. She never posts anything, and then why would they follow her, right?
Yeah. Our rules for Jackson are that he can't block us. He has to, like, we have to have access to see what he's posting. He's not allowed to accept anybody that we don't know.
In real life.
Yeah. And we keep a pretty close eye on it. So
all of Holly's accounts are anonymous. So she's not allowed to post any of her pictures. Nobody knows her age, where she is, her gender. None of that is on there. It's all like genderless avatars and genderless names. And then she's not allowed to accept DMs from anybody that she doesn't know in real life. Yeah, it's hard, but too, like, I can't keep her from every form of communication, and so much communication is digital that but I certainly wouldn't be the mom that lets my kid run her own Instagram and create a follower base and have an influencer account. Like, no, friends, no. Not
without very
for me to say that.
supervision.
I was about to be like, not judging for moms who are doing that, but I'm totally judging. Totally judging. And we've kind of quit even putting her stuff on our accounts. Like, I don't tweet at her in a way that people know that she's my daughter, right? Like
Mhm.
I don't post any pictures of Holly anywhere. Like her Holly's online presence is pretty neutral, with the exception of if she's with her grandparents. Sometimes her grandparents will post pictures of her with them. But other than that, she's just not there.
I don't
I don't know
post
if
pictures
people are
public, like with public access, like on Facebook. If I post pictures of the kids, those posts are for friends only because my friends list, I mean, I've pared it down and it's people that I know, it's friends and family. And then, because anybody can follow you on Facebook and see your public posts. So a lot of my stuff is public, but anything with the kids is private because it's just for friends and family because I've got family and friends everywhere. And they like to
So
see what's going on.
So we've set some rules about like how they can use it and when they can use it and all that. I mean, is there a conversation to be had about it? Like Melissa, are your kids aware of like a TikTok? Do they
Oh my
know that
God.
TikTok is a thing and other kids watch TikTok?
Oh
Like,
my God. Yes, they know TikTok is a thing because I hear all the time. There's this TikTok that has this on it, and there's this TikTok that has that in it. But it's because they watch YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter's favorite YouTuber reacts to TikTok videos. So that's the
Yep.
only way they know TikTok's a thing because none of them have a phone.
yeah.
They don't have their own computer. All our computers, this way, are in common spaces. So there's no, privacy on the internet. Mom
Yeah.
can walk in at any time and see exactly what you're doing.
Yeah. I probably failed that a long time ago when Holly got access to her computer when we homeschooled. And, I could at one point it was like, you will sit next to me while you're on the computer so that I can look over at any time and see what you're looking at. And after a while, it was like, you're killing me with this. Get the hell out of here. Like, yes, you can go to your room,
Yeah.
fine. Yes, you can go to your room. But it wasn't, I mean, I don't know how to justify that other than to be like, there's certain things I know that HB is not doing, learning how to build a bomb, stuff like that. Only because we're talking
hope.
about that kind of stuff. Like we
Yeah.
talk about the crazy ass stuff that comes across on, Twitter and things like that. And she's like, why would this be a thing? And why is that a thing? And I'm like, yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. But I don't know. I don't know what the right thing to do is. And so that's the kind of the point of the whole conversation around this hysteria. Social media is still so new in terms of like how it fits into our lives as adults and what it does or does not do for us. And how many do you guys know friends that are addicted to their phones that like you can't even sit in the room with them for longer than 5 minutes before they've got their phone in their face looking at something?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't have to throw them under the bus. Just be like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I definitely do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If
Definitely.
I'm sitting at dinner with someone and they're on their phone and we're trying to have a conversation and you're on your phone,
Yeah.
it's rude, dude.
Yeah.
It's rude.
Well, there's such a sense that you're not in the moment, right?
Yep.
Like you're not eyeball to eyeball with me right now because
Yep.
you're distracted by the device that's between you and I.
Yeah.
And I made a conscious decision in January to work really hard about being in the thing I'm doing right now. So if I'm on a Zoom meeting, there are no other windows open. I'm doing this right now. If I'm in my classroom, my phone is face down and I am with my students. I am 100% with my students right now. Like I'm really working hard at that, but it doesn't feel like that should be a thing I have to do, that I have to like create that discipline for myself. But I think that's part of this kind of learning how to live with our phones, with social media, with alerts all the time, is like also learning how we need to police ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Manage ourselves.
I gave my kid. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
My son has it's a dumb phone basically, and my daughter has a watch that can make phone calls to a select group of people. They have special ringtones on my phone. So if they are calling me because there's a problem, I know from wherever my phone is. If it's just my basic ringtone, I don't give a shit who's calling me. You know, I don't even know where my phone is half the time. But if my kids are, especially if my kids are with me, if my kids are out of the house, I'm a little more aware because something might happen and someone might need me. But other than that, if
I've gotten
everybody's
a little
home, I
worse
don't
about the
care.
carrying the phone around. I've gotten a little worse about it. Like I definitely keep it a little closer to me than I used to. There were times before, like when I was home, if I'm home and Charlie and Holly are home, I don't really care where my
I don't
phone
care
is
who's calling, right?
because the
It
people
doesn't
that I'm
matter.
interested in being with are here in the house, right?
Yes.
So,
Yep.
and then everybody else can wait. So that's kind of been my perspective. Like just about every time we do anything, it's like, if I'm with you two, I don't care anything about, you know, the rest of the stuff going on.
If it's an emergency, they'll call back again.
Yeah.
It'll keep ringing.
And ringing. Yes. And ringing. Okay. So on the hysteria thing and the Chicken Little and the sky is falling. And I mentioned this about Twitter being a private company. Facebook is a private company. Instagram, private company. TikTok, like all of these companies, and I say private, I don't mean like from a stock market perspective, but like they're in business because
government.
it's a business.
Yeah.
And they're not necessarily, or are they, should they be, held accountable for public space activity, right? Like in terms of this is a public space. I don't know. I'm not sure who should be accountable. I want to default to the person who does it should be accountable.
It's just if they say, if they're going to, my biggest problem is they say, oh no, we're not censoring anybody. We are first, you know, it's a platform for everybody. We are giving everybody the same thing, and they're not. That's the problem because they're lying to the consumer and they're lying to the user. That's the problem. If they want to censor people, that's fine. Just say you're going to do it.
But can't people vote with their feet on something like that? Like if you don't like the way the platform is working, just bail, just leave, right? Like it's not, we don't have to participate in these places. I guess that's probably why my thing about everybody freaking out about Elon Musk buying Twitter, it's like, okay, so you won't be on Twitter anymore. Like if you feel that strongly about it, then just go away, right? Like I don't understand why you're I mean, I guess if like, I can't think of any other logical argument other than like, say I have a membership at the YMCA. And if somebody were to come in and buy the YMCA and tell me that I could no longer swim in the pool on the hours that I want to swim, and I'd be like, well, that sucks. Okay. But if I don't want to conform to what they've put forward, then I'll just leave. Right? Like I'll just leave the Y and go work out somewhere else. So I don't understand why people are so like outraged that Twitter suddenly is no longer the place for them. If it's not the place for you, just fucking go somewhere else. Like,
well, and I think it's not even as much that. I think that one of the things that I've seen kind of circulating is this complaint that Elon Musk spent, you know, was it 43 billion? Was it?
Yeah, but it's not cash. It's not like he whipped out his checkbook and wrote a check for 43 billion. People,
we know that, right?
But I'm absolutely gonna die.
But setting that aside, because we know that, but that's a whole even deeper conversation that I don't think we want to go down that rabbit hole tonight. But let's say he did write a check for 43 billion or whatever it was. People are like, oh, well, he should have used that money for this thing or that thing. Well, you know what? I don't think you should use your money for half the things you use your money for, but I'm not sitting here telling you what checks to write. Shut up, Carol. Like, it's his money.
Do you know how many people he employs? How many people do you employ?
And it doesn't even matter.
On a daily basis,
it's his
how
money.
many people do you pay and make their lives better?
I mean,
the answer is probably zero.
Probably zero. Probably zero.
So the question then becomes, are billionaires like pregnant ladies where because they have all this money, their community property in the same way that pregnant ladies take unsolicited advice
And
from
touching.
every damn
Touching.
body. People seem to think
Everybody wants
because
to
you're
touch your belly
pregnant,
like you're
that
freaking
you're
Buddha.
community property and that they should just say whatever the fuck they want to you. And honestly, if I'm a billionaire, I'm being treated like a pregnant lady. Like that's basically what's happening, is that they feel like because they've got all this money, we can just say whatever. And they're public people, they're public figures. We can just say whatever we want to them and about them. I mean, and once again, mind your own business. Just mind your business.
It's not
Just
that
get
hard.
out of everybody else's
It
business.
costs
and
you
mind your own.
approximately $0 and 0 cents to mind your own damn business. It's not that hard. It's really not. I promise. Try it sometime. Try it sometime.
And people are worried about what 43 billion he's spent. This is like my favorite Facebook meme. Here you go, Facebook again.
But you're not worried about how the government's spending
Yes!
money? Like,
Thank you. They spend that. They spend
what the hell? Like,
that
let's talk about
every
your
year,
priorities.
and no one gives a shit. And
Yeah.
nothing is fixed. Homelessness is still a thing. Poverty is still a thing. People don't have enough food, education. What the fuck is the government doing with 3 times that amount of money? Nothing.
Yeah. I think your anger is a little bit misplaced there, Tina.
Well, does it just say though that we think billionaires can solve the problems if we're pissed at them for not solving the problems? Like, I thought you could buy us out of poverty. I don't understand why instead you'd like to go turn your money into more money. What is that? Like, because that's how they became billionaires. They turned their money into more money, right? That's just how it works. Lord have mercy. Charlie is blowing up our YouTube comments right now. He wants to desperately to be on the show. We're not going to talk about the media thing. I don't think we're going to talk about media in this particular episode because we really want to talk about this concept of social media hysteria and how people get so bent out of shape over social media itself and why they feel like this is it. What's the payoff? Maybe let's go to that. What's the payoff? What do people get out of being all fired up about this social media suchness that we're seeing?
Attention.
Okay. They're personally getting attention. These individuals are personally getting attention.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of it has to do with attention. That's the only reasonable explanation I can come up with.
Some kind of validation, maybe I think the validation is crucial. Like, I think when people like their post or share their post or retweet them or whatever, there's some sense of validation there.
I don't know. I saw the dumbest thing. One of the pages I follow, you will understand the question, what is poor people food that you'll continue to eat even if you had $1 million?
Mac and cheese and hot dogs.
Thank you. The comments were, oh my God, you said poor people food. That's so insensitive. What's poor people food? That's so.
Oh, Lord.
I can make you a list.
Or ramen.
Ramen.
They tried to cancel Denny Hamlin this week.
People food.
They tried to cancel Denny Hamlin this week for putting up a Family Guy meme. I don't know if you guys follow NASCAR at all, but he put up a Family Guy meme, and the Family Guy clip was an Asian cartoon, right? A cartoon of an Asian woman driving poorly, right? Driving bad. And he put it side by side with a video of Kyle Larson cutting across like 4 lanes of traffic in the friggin' race, in the NASCAR race. So he's basically calling Kyle Larson a bad Asian female driver. And oh my God, it was hilarious. And holy crap, within like an hour, he was fully canceled. Had to take that shit down, had to apologize. NASCAR's putting him through sensitivity training. Like, fully canceled Denny Hamlin for using this stupid Family Guy meme.
Meanwhile,
like, he didn't even make this shit up. It's a
TV.
Family Guy thing.
Has been on TV for 15 years making the same sort of joke. That's okay. You just can't reference it.
Well, no, people don't watch Family Guy, right? But they're here following Denny Hamlin on Twitter, and he's been culturally insensitive. So we better shame him and make like there was this whole kerfuffle around this. And I was like laughing my ass off to Charlie. Go, I scrolled through this morning, I see this thing, and I'm kind of like, haha, that's funny. Kyle Larson sucks. You know what I mean? Like that was all I got out of it. Was like Kyle Larson sucks. And then the next thing I know, he's on there like apologizing, and NASCAR is like issuing an official statement. I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now?
It's so
Yes.
Oh my God.
100% true. 100% true. This social media hysteria.
I'm crying.
10 people. 10 people on social media.
Jason thinks we need to be canceled.
Please.
Laughing at other people and their cultural sensitivity. Lord have mercy. He wasn't honestly like, I don't know Denny Hamlin personally. I assure you, he is not anti-Asian people, right? Like he was not
Because
in any way trying to be a dick about Asian women.
Poor
He
Denny
was
is
wholly-
so misunderstood. He is just so
Good
misunderstood.
Lord have mercy. I mean, come on.
Oh my God.
So that happened this week. And then of course there's somebody on YouTube that is taking clips out of the Johnny Depp trial and is like,
oh my
putting
gosh,
little like all these little tags of like what should be said instead of what's actually being said. I mean, the guy is basically making cartoons out of Johnny Depp on trial right now. Like, come on, this stuff's hilarious. You don't see Johnny Depp out there being like, I feel like you're being insensitive to what I'm going through right now. Like,
sorry.
and even if he did, everybody would say, well, he's a celebrity, he deserves it, right?
Well, sidebar, have you seen the compilation of the clips where he's like trolling the attorneys, where he like makes smart ass remarks? Like the attorney would be like, did I read that right? He's like, yeah. And then he'd read, did I read that right? You can read, can't you? Like, I mean, it's just like the funniest stuff. And he's just like super serious about it, but you can tell he's being a smart ass. Yeah. He's obviously not worried about insensitivity because
it's a hard time to be a comedian, right? To Jason's point, it's a hard time to be a comedian right now. And the people who there's a really good podcaster that I follow named Jeff Maher, and his podcast is called I Might Be Wrong. And he said he wants to know if maybe we're losing our sense of humor as a culture, if we're losing our sense of humor.
Oh yeah.
And if so, when that happens, what happens, right? If we lose our ability to laugh at ourselves and laugh at each other, like, God, who wants to live in that world?
Right.
Right?
I don't
live there.
Seinfeld had a whole thing. He won't play on college campuses anymore because they have no sense of humor.
Well, Steve Carell has said in interviews when they've asked about, bringing back The Office, doing a reboot, and he's like, there's absolutely no way that we could have it now, not in the climate that we're in, because it wouldn't be The Office. Like with the humor that we use, it just wouldn't work. And that's sad. I mean,
so again, but that's that social media hysteria.
Yeah.
It's where people grab a hold of it. They call it a certain thing. They start pounding the drums about how this person has done this terrible thing. They get all this validation, right? Like somebody's liking, somebody's retweeting, somebody's sharing, whatever. I'm being validated for this crazy garbage, wokeism bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And it just perpetuates. It just perpetuates. I don't know. I honestly think we've just got to stop taking ourselves so seriously. I mean, my God, stop taking yourself so seriously.
Yeah.
You will never survive. There's a reason people are suffering from massive social anxiety. It's because they take themselves way too fucking seriously.
Yeah.
Like, stop worrying about what other people think of you. They rarely do. They very rarely are thinking about you. They're almost always thinking about themselves.
I'd say that's a fair assessment.
I read that in a book. What it was, I don't know, because my brain is shit. But
that was my Nana's thing. My Nana said, you'll stop worrying about what people think of you when you realize how rarely they do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, alrighty then. I'm just not even I just can't even wrap my brain around. I can't worry about what other people think. I just can't. I don't have time for it. I'm too worried about myself and my own insecurities. I don't have time for that shit. but certainly not taking myself too seriously. That's for damn sure. Not with my orange hair, not with my beautiful Clemson orange hair. I cannot
I love
possibly
it.
be accused of taking myself too seriously these days.
I think it's fantastic.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. All of my Clemson friends do. All right. I'm just going to scroll through our comments here real quick and make sure we've covered this. Have we covered this? Do we think we've done this? We're at 34 minutes. That's about the usual time. Think we can handle this? I don't know. Social media hysteria is a sickness, and we're perpetuating it. And I honestly think, like, if we continue to let people get away with it, all these Facebook fights they're having, all this, the next thing on Twitter, the next thing on TikTok, whatever it is, y'all get out in the real world. Go face to face with people, eyeball to eyeball, enjoy their company, right? Be in the room with them. Put your phone down and talk to them, right? Like, there's just no better cure for this than to quit being digital.
Well, at least for iPhone users, iPhones will tell you on Sunday, it'll give you a screen time report. It'll tell you how much time you're spending on your phone. And so you think about that. Like, if you take that time, if you take that amount of time that you've spent on that device and apply it in your community, doing something that you would think is important, think about how much good you could do. You could actually do, not arguing with strangers on the internet.
Yes. Let us all commit to not arguing with strangers on the internet.
Stop arguing with strangers.
Our public service announcement. Please cease your foolishness.
What does it say?
Arguing
You argue with an idiot. Onlookers can't tell which one's which.
Yeah, good point.
That's true.
Yep.
All right, go out to parentingporcupines.com, grab the show notes. We're here next week as well. I think we might be taking May 12th off, but then it'll be Libertarian National Convention week, and Jess and I'll be live
from Reno.
You got to make Brian do it. He'll be in Reno.
We're going to have him proxy for you. You want to have Brian proxy for you while we're in Reno? I don't know. If it's 8:00 at night, Reno time, people on the East Coast are going to be hammered by the time we go online.
Especially me, because he's going to be in Reno and I'm going to be alone with children.
With all the foolishness that we're going to have to endure, we're probably going to be hammered too. I don't know how you drew the
short straw on that, Melissa, but yeah. All right. Well, good show tonight. Appreciate you. Appreciate Jason Lyon joining us live. We appreciate you. He said your roommate says hi. So hi, Kelsey. Thanks to everybody who joined us live. We appreciate y'all. We'll see you next week.